A lot of people, they want to disassociate from sex trafficking, that it's only happening over there or in other communities, other parts of the world. It's in our communities, it's in our schools, it's in our neighborhoods, it's in our favorite restaurants, it's something we drive by every day without even realizing it. And so those effects are very reaching.
My definition of sex trafficking is the capturing and exploitation, sexual exploitation of women. As women now, as young adults now, we are scared and we don't go outside at night and we don't walk by ourselves because this fear in the back of our head is some person somewhere is going to come and snatch us up and sell us for sex or rape us and drug us. You know, it's a huge fear. My family and I believe my mother was a victim or is a victim of sex trafficking. I never knew my mom, so I never grew up with her. I have no memories of her. I wasn't told of her story until I was 16 or 17 years old. And apparently my mother was persuaded by drugs to go with this man, and she told my aunt that she was being sold for sex, and she was a prostitute, and she got tested for AIDS, and she came out positive for AIDS, and so she never got to be my mom or get to know me. So that's my personal experience with the topic.
So I ran square into the issue of sex trafficking because women in sex trafficking are under layer after layer after layer of social jeopardy. I was dealing with one woman who exited from the industry, exited sex trafficking. And she was doing good, and she was getting rent assistance, and people were helping with groceries. And she called me up one day, and she said, "Hey, I need a ride to work." And so I was elated. I thought she had gotten a job. And I got there, and she wanted a ride back to the brothel that she came out of 3 months earlier. And I was like, man, I wish you wouldn't go back. I wish you wouldn't go back. She said, "What am I going to do, Kat? I don't even know how to read." All right, I'll tell you things I've seen with my own eyes, okay? Outside a strip club on Hillcroft, in the back of the strip club, I saw a pimp seasoning one of his subjects. She was down on the ground in a gravel parking lot on all fours, and he was walking around her, inspecting her. Do you understand? Okay. What effect would you imagine that would have on her? Devastation. Like, more than devastation. Have you ever felt utterly worthless? It's heinous, it's dark, it's evil, and a person who would sell a child for sex doesn't give a shit about you. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's brutal. There's a distinct lack of empathy in the whole thing.
We define sex trafficking as really the recruitment, harboring, obtaining, transporting Otherwise, manipulation, use, or control of a person through force, fraud, or coercion for the purpose of sexual exploitation, which when we really dive that down is, controlling, enforcing, coercing, defrauding a person into engaging in commercial sex is sex trafficking. If we suspect that a person has been trafficked, what that means is that we suspect that they have been severely traumatized, and that trauma is long lasting and it manifests both physically and psychologically. So anything from sleeping problems, gaps in memory, disassociation, PTSD, anxiety, poor interpersonal skills, hostile behavior, these are all behaviors and symptoms of a person's trauma. And so when we're addressing the long-term and long-lasting effects of that, we want to make sure that we are really addressing the root cause.